We are back. That's right. We are back to the Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus podcast show. I am Dr. B. And we are moving along to show number 59. That's right. Show number 59. And it's entitled College Students Want More Serious and Fun Discussions About Race and Ethnic Relations. That's right. Yeah, it's entitled College Students Want More Serious and Fun Discussions About Race and Ethnic Relations. We are officially back. This is show number 59. I am Dr. B, and this is our final show for 2021. Yes, this is our final show for 2021, but this is a show that I definitely wanted to record and really provide an overview from my class that I taught this past fall semester, and which I want to acknowledge how well they did in that class. So this is kind of like a congrats to all of my college students in the class for this class. Over 90 students in this class, an online class, by the way. So let me take care of some housekeeping. Again, I want to welcome and thank our supporters, thank all our platforms, thank all our platforms that our podcast show, the Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus podcast show are on. We want to thank Podbean, thank you Podbean. Want to thank Google Play, thank iTunes. Apple Podcasts, all of Apple Podcasts. Want to thank Spotify. Want to thank Amazon and Audible, and of course, thank iHeartRadio, and again, thank a special platform from Spotify. Please, thank you again, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're podcast platforms that we're on. Again, it's been a remarkable year, and I want to thank all our again podcast platforms. They're picking us up on different types of all types of platforms, and it's been rewarding to get that a continual growth of our platform. So all the platforms that we're on, we're very, very appreciative, and I want to say I'm very appreciative of our book publisher, ABC-CLIO, that published our book in 2018. Now it's, let me just say, the latest news. I want to make sure I'm correct on this latest news that our ABC-CLIO was actually published, bought by Bloomsbury. Bloomsbury acquires ABC-CLIO just a few weeks ago, and Bloomsbury is a global and leading independent publisher across the world. So thank you, Bloomsbury, for acquiring ABC-CLIO. And Bloomsbury, again, like I said, it is based in London, New York, New Delhi, Oxford, and Sydney. That's right, London, New York, New Delhi, Oxford, and Sydney. So a big shout out to Bloomsbury, where you can purchase our book, my book, Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus. So I wanted to make sure I do a quick shout out to the new owner of ABC-CLIO and where my book still originates from. So, wow, that was a lot. With that said, thank you again, all our platforms and our book publisher. And currently 4 minutes in, almost 5 minutes in. Let me get to our topic. Let me get to our main topic, which is, really congratulating my students for, now I've been, let me just backtrack a little bit. We covered a lot of different race and ethnic relations issues in this show, a lot of serious issues. a lot of detailed issues. Most of the issues, there are topical and issues that a lot of folks and scholars and individuals across the world are very hesitant to talk about, to discuss, to break down. And I realized long ago, since I've been teaching college classes over 30-some years, that there are certain topics that college students truly want to engage into. And this is one topic that's always been intriguing for a majority of college students. And I remember when going through college back in the 70s and 80s, and this was more of a topic to discuss during the 70s, but somehow it got lost in the genre of being politically correct. That's right, politically correct after the 80s and 90s and 2000 and so forth. So scholars and institutions, higher levels of higher education kind of moved away from these topics, and now I believe it's really coming back in full force. And but it takes individuals like myself to take a leap of faith into issues that you feel that your students really want to talk about, and it comes from the energy. It comes from the constant interaction, engagement with my students over the years in different places, not just at one university, but several universities that I've been fortunate to work for over the years. And it's been building at every place, but I can see it even more so at the university that I'm at right now. And now that I've maintained or started this class on a regular basis every semester, I said, let's go. I'm thinking to myself, let's go for it. This is something that's been growing and growing and growing and building. And I said, let's offer this class each and every semester. And so, with that kind of change in direction of my lecture activity, my scholarly activity and my teaching activity at the university, I feel like is necessary for me to commit my time and energy on this topic. And I just felt there was a big momentum, a big need, an unmet need by the university, an unmet number of issues that students have not been able to engage with, and also with all the national race and ethnic relations issues that have come forth to the forefront over the past 2 or 3 years, 5 years, really, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, and it just continues to build. Now we're in a different time period with race and ethnic relations, and I can see that students are still more willing to discuss these issues, yet it's so important when you go down this road. You have to take it step by step by step to frame it out so individuals of all walks of life, all racial and ethnic backgrounds, can participate, feel comfortable in participating in this topic. That's right. Feel comfortable enough to participate, engage, interact, dive deeper into issues of race and ethnic relations. That's the reason why, again, I wrote my book, really put this book together for decades, and really felt the momentum back in 2015 or so, 2015, when a lot of issues were coming into place. So that's when I started, as I recall, started really putting the framework of the book together, and fortunately to put the book together and get it published by ABC-CLIO, now Bloomsbury. And let me just give you the framework of my book. Now I can go over I probably said it in a prior podcast, but I want to give you the framework because I can see from my class now, it truly has helped them to frame out these issues that they've commented time and time again to help organize their thoughts professionally. And it's one thing to talk about race, talk about ethnic relations. It's another thing to understand it, to frame it out, to walk it through, and eventually come to some serious discussion, some fun discussions, and then come up with certain solutions. And the solutions are out there. It's just that students have not been given the direction to where to go get those solutions. So here's again my book. Again, it starts off. It's actually divided up in. Let me see. How many parts did I divide it up into? It's divided up in 6 particular parts. Part 1 is an overview and current issues, where chapter 1 begins with the impact of the national race and ethnic relations incidents on college experiences. Chapter 2, typical campus race and ethnic relations. And then it goes to part 2, the background issues. Chapter 3, the basic concepts of race and ethnic relations. There I just, again, you got to give a background. You got to do the background. You got to do a deeper dive. What are the basic concepts of race and ethnic relations? And I go in detail on all the basic concepts that many times folks tend to overlook. We kind of know them, but we don't know them in detail. So it's always, again, as a professor, it's always a better approach to define the issues for your audience. So then you can go in so many different directions. So chapter 3 is about basic concept of race and ethnic relations. Chapter 4, race and ethnic relations theories. Hello, race and ethnic relations theories. These are not civil rights theories. These are race and ethnic relations theories. That's very important to highlight, because there are certain theories that have been in the literature for quite some time. I selected certain race and ethnic relations theories that best relate to today's college students. And then chapter 5, interracial relationships and race relations, a cultural historical review in America. Look at the interracial relationships and race relations. Chapter 6 moves on to national politics and race relations. So that gives those chapters, chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6, provides the reader and my audience, my college students, my class, the background issues of race and ethnic relations. So we spend a lot of time really diving deeper into these issues. So they start to feel comfortable. They start to get connected to the history of it, but also are able to construct and connect with the basic concepts, better understanding of the definitions, the theories, and see how things are truly laid out on a national basis with regards to national politics always come into play, and then interracial relationships. So that is critical for anyone who wants to teach a class on race and ethnic relations. Spend time with the background issues. Then part 3 of my book, practical outcomes of race relations. Here's where it really connects to my students. Because students get all this framework, all this, you have to go into the background of this particular academic discipline, or that one, this one. Then you have to directly connect what are the practical outcomes of race relations. That's where chapter 7 talks about the negative consequences of poor race and ethnic relations among college students. Then chapter 8, positive outcomes of good race and ethnic relations among college students. So I talk about the negative and positive outcomes. And again, students appreciate it. They want to know what are the negative consequences. They're not conscious of it. They kind of know, but it's important to spell it out. It's important to provide exercises on what are the negative consequences of poor race relations. And then what are the positive positive outcomes of good race and ethnic relations. Many times and I'm just saying in general, college students are not aware of those positive outcomes, and you got to spell it out. You got to show them. You got to provide exercises. Then they say, "Wow, these are the positive outcomes." Oh my gosh, it's rewarding to see their reaction to it. And then part 4 of the book, Solutions to Race and Ethnic Relations, How College Students Can Solve Race and Ethnic Relations, Chapter 9, and Chapter 10, How Universities Can Solve Race and Ethnic Relations. Again, empowering students. College students, they have so many different ideals, so many directions that they can go. But you give them the opportunity to say, you can solve this. You're coming in with your new approach, your new generational approach. Again, these are, right now I'm teaching Generation Z students, born during after 2001 and on. These Generation Z students, they have a different perspective, which is great. But again, I say, many of us who are older, I'm in the baby boomer generation, I'm 63, so I have to stay in tune with how my current college students perceive the world. And so this is where I say, you take charge, you develop strategies, you develop solutions, and they are so surprised that they're given this opportunity for one in the class, and then they actually do it. So, how can college students solve race relations? And then they become aware of how their own university can solve race and ethnic relations. Many times they're not even aware of how the university is taking on this charge. But most universities are. Some are doing a better job than others. Hello. Some universities are doing a much better job than others. But most universities are attempting to solve race and ethnic relations on their campus. And then part 5 is debate issues. Then this is chapter 11, where controversial race and ethnic relations topics. This is where we discuss and debate these issues. I'm going to highlight that in just a second. So I have part 5, debate issues, and then part 6 are teaching strategies. I actually provide a journal of my teaching and teaching strategies from a race relations seminar that I taught for the very first time at this university. And it gives you a day-to-day or a week-to-week journal of how I carved out this race relations class among 4 honor students at the time. So again, And let me I just gave you an overview of the book, but let me get back to the critical issue of this class and why college students want more serious and fun discussions about race. I get back to the basic concepts, and let me just give you the basic concept of race and ethnic relations. I always love to do this. Here's how I define race relations. Basically, race and ethnic relations refers to the ways in which people of different heritages, race and ethnicities living together in the same community behave toward one another. Again, how we behave toward one another. In other words, for us, it raises questions of how college students of different racial, ethnic and racial backgrounds, 1, get along with each other daily on campus, 2, live together in dorms and apartments as roommates, 3, eat together at campus cafeterias and local eateries, 4, attend classes together, 5, participate in social events on campus, 6, attend college parties and bars together, 7, get along with each other as teammates on a college athletic team, 8, participate in student body organizations or fraternity sorority activities, 9, compete to receive special honors and recognitions through their college years, 10, prepare for graduations, 11, compete for available job and graduate school opportunities during the next stage of their development. So again, define race relations. And when I spend significant amount of time in the class about the importance of race relations now in their college experience, they start to get it. They start to get that they need to work on it right now, not when they graduate, not years down the road, but right now. developing those skill sets, developing that awareness, having the motivation to talk to a person who just happens to be of a different racial and ethnic background, who looks different than them, maybe obviously a different skin color, or or has a different language, or just looks different than them. And in the exercise, now I'm going into my class. One of the first exercises that I have is exercises. I get students to acknowledge who their friends are. Take a picture of your friends, and then take a picture of a friend who looks different than you, and post it. Do a selfie. And once I start with that exercise, it brings the class together. That is so important with this class. Not to separate, because it's it's easy to separate all of us. It's easy. Yet it's more challenging to bring us together. So I purposely, right up front in the class, encourage, motivate, and provide an exercise in which they have to do, if they want the points, to show that they're reaching out to a person who happens to look different than them, racially and ethnically. And when they have to post their selfie, their picture on the discussion board, and they view how their colleague, their classmate, the diversity of their classmates' friends, they see the extreme diversity, even here in my class, here at this university in Eastern North Carolina. They're surprised. They're pleasantly surprised. They didn't realize, even attending this predominantly mainstream white institution, there is diversity. But you have to realize, a lot of these students, they stay in a bubble. They truly stay in a bubble because of the they tend to stay on their phones. They tend to socialize on their phones all the time, 24/7, 7 days a week. It seems like more than 24 hours a day. So they have protected themselves. Yet they protected themselves so much that they haven't even slowed down and truly look and digest who their friends are. They take it for granted. But when you slow them down, they realize, wow, I do have a diverse set of friends who I know, maybe not all that great, but I do know I'm socializing with, I'm interacting with on a daily basis, because I'm on college, I'm on campus, I'm at this university. And when when they're able to slow down and then see others, wow, it brings them together. And that's how they start to interact collectively together. Now, we also have we hit tough issues, but we have fun discussions as well. And I have an exercise where I have students actually highlight their music. What music do you listen to? Their food preferences. What foods do you regularly eat? As well as their slang terms that they use. Now, when I provide this I just love that exercise. It brings out so much new information for myself, because like I said, I'm a different generation. I haven't heard these terms, but these are all the terms that so many students know, and other students may not have been aware of it, and then they become aware of it. They didn't even know the latest slang terms. What's hip and what's this and what's not. So, and then you see the generational change of what's the in terms, and then what are the so-called not in terms. So I purposely provide these exercises to bring the class together. And they realize, wow, positive race relations is extremely important. I can't connect with a person who looks different than me. I can't connect with a person who has a different history than me. I can't connect with a person who's lived in a different part of the country than me. I can't connect with a person who has a different language system, a different dialect than me. And that's so important in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and on. Students need to feel that they can connect. And in my class, I can see that they were waiting for this opportunity. They want more of it. That's the reason why I titled this show, Students Want More. Serious and fun discussions. Not less, more. And we need to provide, and I say we, I'm part of academia, all across academia. Hello. In all walks of life, we need to support, provide better mechanisms, better classes, and require. Oh, here's one of the things that came over the outcome of the class. I received I was thoroughly outdone. Of course, students had so many exercises to do to get points throughout the semester, and they also had midterm and final exam, and a exercise where, well, a requirement where they had to develop solutions for improving race relations at the end. Major requirement, and not a paper, but a PowerPoint presentation. And then the final comment, and I'm just pleasantly surprised. More comments at the end on the final exam when students said, and I asked them, what are your takeaways from this class? What are you going to take away from this class? And a vast majority of the students stated that they would like this class to be a requirement at the university and other universities, to make race and ethnic relations class a requirement for all incoming freshmen. And I wholeheartedly agree. And this comes from all students, from my white students, from my African American students, Hispanic, Latinas students, my Asian students, my Native American students, yes, my biracial students, yes, and my multiracial students. It comes from all segments of my students in my class. And when we got into the real serious debate about jury debate, some serious life issues, they still hung in there. They still stated their case. And they still needed that feedback. They needed that interaction, not just with me, but with their colleague in class. They wanted to read and learn what their colleague thought about some serious issues that have been in the news nationally and even locally here in North Carolina. That challenge that purposely divided the community up on some serious race issues. And they were able to discuss it professionally and come up with their solutions. My students said they needed more of this. That was rewarding. And I have to congratulate each and every one of my students for stepping up and making their statement. So again, this was by far the best of my class. So it's number one, because I based the success of a class, if it's just one student, it's fine. But the numbers of students who stated that they got the takeaway from this class was significantly important to them and changed their perspective in a lot of different ways. I have to say that this was the best class of them all. And again, I've been teaching these types of classes over 30 some years, not in different forms, and it was in different segments in anthropology. But now it's truly race and ethnic relations. And I would have to say that this particular class and these students took it upon themselves, even when it's all online. It's just completely online. And I think that really helped to get us where we needed to go. Now, when I taught this face-to-face, it was tough, but we moved forward. And students wanted to engage when it was face-to-face. But now, when it's entirely online, students are engaging in a different way. So we can go deeper on many of these issues. And serious issues, but also fun, lighthearted issues, where students were looking forward to reading the comments of their colleagues each and every week, and how I was going to frame it out in my very I try to say not formal but informal lectures. I keep it informal. I don't lecture with all the 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet points and go over this. I try to make it relaxing, as though I'm lecturing in a lecture hall. So I think the students approached it that way and enjoyed the type of lecture style that I bring to this class. And each and every time I lecture, I seriously have so much fun doing the lectures, yet don't know exactly how it's going to end. I have a framework, I have a start and a finish, but what goes in the middle it's truly a surprise to me, even after these number of years teaching this college classes. So again, this is acknowledgement, really a thank you, and congrats to my current students and set of students just finished the class, but this wave of students who truly overall, not all of them, of course many of them just had to take this class because of a requirement, for credit hours. You can tell which students were really not putting in much effort. You could tell, online, you could tell, but I would have to say a vast majority truly got the most out of those students that barely made it. They barely made it. Okay. You put in what you get. Okay, if you don't put that much in, you're not going to get much out. Okay, that happens with every, most class, all classes. But those students who put time and effort in and slow down and engage with the lectures that I presented, engage with the material that I presented, engage with their classmate, that was rewarding to see. So again, I want to highlight this last show and acknowledge a special congratulations to all my students. And that's the reason why this show is entitled, show number 59, entitled College Students Want More Serious and Fun Discussions About Race and Ethnic Relations. There you go. That's show number 59. I want to thank all our sponsors. I want to thank Google Play. I want to thank Apple Podcasts. I want to thank iHeartRadio. I want to thank Spotify. I want to thank Podbean. Thank you, Podbean. I want to thank Amazon Prime, and Audible, and all the given podcast platforms. And of course, I want to thank my publisher, ABC-CLIO, now under Bloomsbury Publishing. Thank you. I hope to, and I want to thank all my supporters who have purchased the book, from all different areas, and also thank my home folks who have purchased a book. You know who you are, the home folks who purchased a book over the year, and hopefully that has continued to engage and supported your cause as well. So again, I'm wrapping 2021 up with the final show 59. College students want more serious and fun discussions about race and ethnic relations. This is Dr. B. Stay safe. Stay true to yourself. And always move forward. Peace out, everybody. We out!